I've got a rather unpopular opinion to share today, and that's that Mother's Day sucks, especially for us estranged moms. You know what, though? It doesn't just suck for us moms. It also sucks for estranged daughters and all estranged adult children, including the sons. And it also sucks for adoptees, for women who've never had children, for women who've lost a child, for women who want more kids and can't have more. And it also really bites for women who grew up in a rough household where their mom was either not present or wasn't very nice to them. If you're someone who still loves Mother's Day and thinks it's all wonderful and glorious and good, you are so blessed. And I truly mean that. If you don't understand why others don't like it, get down on your knees and thank God that you don't, because their stories and their reasons will probably break your heart. On the other hand, if anxiety and tension and stress and attitude have been mounting this week, there's probably a reason for it. You're not just grumpy without a cause. I've come to realize that my rather unpopular opinion is secretly a lot more popular than many people might want to admit to. Mother's Day has long been known as Trauma Awareness Day in my house. It has historically been one of the very hardest days of the year for my family. And those triggers start early and they come in fast. While my adopted kids were the ones that shined a light on the reasons why, I actually felt it long before they came along, and I just didn't have words to express it. Mother's Day is supposed to be a day to celebrate mom, right? All the good she does, all the sacrifices, all the glorious things. But in reality, it often just ends up being another day where mom does all the work. And it comes with all kinds of over-the-top sentiments of unattainable perfection that leave a lot more guilt than gratitude in its wake. However, the thing that makes Mother's Day the hardest is that it is a day of profound loss for so many of us. When life isn't perfect, it hasn't been perfect for a while, or you're not perfect, Mother's Day often just highlights what is missing and what's gone wrong. For us estranged moms, it becomes a day of marked grief. It's a reminder of who's missing and the reasons they're missing and all the contention and the harsh words that can never be recalled. And instead of all those fake platitudes making us feel good, they often just put an exclamation point on the heartbreak that landed us in this situation. For estranged daughters and sons and daughters-in-law, believe it or not, it's also a painful reminder of who's missing in our life and why they're missing. In truth, I would love nothing more than to celebrate Mother's Day with my mom. I'd love for it to feel natural and not forced, with no expectations and a whole lot of mutual respect that honors my needs and wishes as well as hers. Because I'm a mom too, and I've earned every one of my tiger stripes. I wish it ended there, but it doesn't. I'm not just an estranged mom, an estranged daughter, and an estranged daughter-in-law. I'm also an adoptive mom. It was my own kids who showed me, often in less than stellar ways, how painful it really is to lose a mom. And there's one thing I can never change about their story, and that's that I'm not their first mom, and I'll never be their only mom. Though they've had no contact with her for most of their life, she still has a strong presence there. No matter how big they get, no matter how old they get, and no matter what she did or didn't do, she'll always still be their first mom. And one of my now adult sweet little darlings has already made sure to remind me of that too. Oh well, you do you, boo. I hope it turns out. It's not something I can change and it's not something I can control. So all I can do is wish you well and hope for the best. We all know about that Maycember stuff, right? With all the graduations and the end of year parties and the recitals and the programs and all the stuff that makes the month of May even busier and more stressful than the Christmas holiday season. There's something about that though that I think a lot of people don't think about. And that's that every one of those things are rooted in loss and endings. They're all the loss of familiar routines, activities they enjoyed, friends, familiarity, and graduations often mean moving away and starting a new life somewhere else. And of course, we have Memorial Day coming in fast, right on the heels of Mother's Day. While that day is often billed as the official start of summer and delicious barbecues, it's literally a day that celebrates loss, and it's a day to honor those who have gone on before, especially for those who sacrificed their all defending a nation that I love and I am also deeply concerned about right now. Mother's Day is just sandwiched in the middle of all of that. When somebody's already been through a lot of other losses in their life, all of these things, all of these endings, even when they're joyous, come with a lot of mixed emotions, and they secretly feel very heavy and sad rather than joyous. But somehow it's not cool to say that out loud, right? Because who's not going to celebrate a graduation? With loss comes grief, and it's often ambiguous grief. Grief without a death or any closure. It's just a heavy sense of loss without anything concrete to tie it to. The process of working through it is still the same as if we'd lost a loved one, and it still turns your life upside down. It's just that nobody brings a casserole. In the case of family estrangement, we did lose a loved one, and that loss feels exactly like a death. Meaning isn't just found in the person themselves, it's in the relationship we had with that person that adds all the richness and the meaning. When that's gone, there's no going back to how things were, ever. Even if that person is still living, and even if we can somehow find a way to pull it all back together. For me personally, one of the hardest realizations has been that relationship started dying long before it actually ended. That kind of stuff can tie us in all kinds of emotional knots and leave us with a great sense of disillusionment. It kind of feels like motherhood and forever families was all just a pipe dream. And that Kool-Aid we were sold of do the right thing, make all the sacrifices, and everything will turn out great didn't work. I could probably go on for days with a list of things I could gripe and complain about related to Mother's Day, but I think you probably get the picture by now. Let's shift gears and talk about some survival skills of what we can do when Mother's Day sucks. Much as a lot of us would probably like to do, staying in bed all day and pulling the covers up over our heads sounds like a nice idea, but it's not very practical in real life. And it also won't make anything any better. But here are 5 things that you can consider that might make things better. First of all, grab a copy of my free guide, Making Sense of the Mess. It'll walk you through the process of sorting out all the pieces and help you figure out what to do when the drama starts to spin, as it often does around all the big holidays and celebrations. You can access that from the link down below or in the first pinned comment. The second thing you can do is say it out loud. If you don't love Mother's Day, or if it's hard for you, don't just suffer through it in silence. Speak up and speak out. You don't have to make it miserable for anybody, but it's perfectly okay to let other people know that you're not a fan and that you want to do things differently and maybe even need to do something differently. The third thing you can do is put some boundaries around it, even if others don't get it or if they don't like it. You can stay off social media so you're not looking at all the glorious posts. You can set time limits around how long you're going to stay at any gathering. You can also say no entirely to those obligatory invitations, gifts, expectations, places, or activities that you just don't love, especially on Mother's Day. It's also important to remember that other mothers, including your own, if she's still here, don't trump your own wishes or desires, even if you don't have any kids of your own. The fourth thing we can do is acknowledge the losses. They're real. Even if no one else acknowledges them, it's still important that you do and that you acknowledge them out loud. And if it fits, honor the memory of those who are no longer here and hold them in your hearts. Do something special that reminds you of those people that are gone. Or Stay away from things that remind you of people who are gone. Number 5 is to make a conscious effort to connect with and appreciate the people who are still here. Make an effort to spend time enjoying other relationships with family, friends, and others you still have connection with. Keep it simple, keep it low key. In my world, unless somebody else does all the planning and does all the work and executes the things, Mother's Day is just going to be another day in my world, and I am perfectly okay with it. And they know it. Will I be disappointed if they don't do anything? Yeah, probably a little. Was I a little disappointed when my adult son started copying attitude and telling me that I wasn't as good of a mom as his birth mom? You bet. But my worth and value as a mom and as a person aren't defined by any of that. And their worth and value isn't either. I've ridden this rodeo enough times to know that one of the best ways to get through this Hallmark holiday is just to learn to dance with it. The more we can learn to kind of just navigate around and dance with all the sucky parts, the easier it is to get through. We can't make it go away. We can't hide from it forever, but we can make it so it's not quite so hard. Wherever you're at, just hold your head high. Remember your worth, even if others around you don't. It can indeed be lonely at times, which is also what I talk about in this video right up here. Loneliness is another big part of dysfunctional family relationships and estrangement and family breakdown that people just don't talk enough about. I promise it's not as glorious as all those 30-second sound bites on TikTok make it sound. Whatever your case is, I do wish you all the best this coming weekend. Go ahead and click on that video right up there, and I'll see you over there.